Imagine being expected to conquer entire civilizations on a diet that would make modern fitness influencers cry. The Spartans, the guys who terrorized ancient Greece for centuries, survived on food rations so minimal that most of us would quit by lunchtime. And yet, they built one of history's most feared military machines on what basically amounts to poverty meals. Here's the crazy part. Their extreme minimalist approach to food wasn't just about toughness. It was a calculated survival strategy that's actually more relevant today than it was 2,500 years ago. Because whether you're facing an economic crisis, a natural disaster, or just trying to stretch your paycheck to the end of the month, the Spartans figured out how to stay alive and operational on almost nothing. Today, I'm breaking down the Spartan rationing system, showing you exactly what they ate, why it worked, and most importantly, how you can apply these battle-tested principles to build your own emergency food supply without spending a fortune. This isn't about eating like a warrior for fun. This is about understanding minimalist nutrition that could literally save your life when grocery stores aren't an option. Part 1. What Spartans actually ate. Let's start with the infamous black soup, or as the Spartans called it, melas zomos. This was the staple of Spartan military rations, and it was basically pig blood, vinegar, and salt. That's it. Sometimes they'd throw in some pork fat if they were feeling fancy. Ancient writers literally said it tasted so bad that it made sense why Spartans were so willing to die in battle. But here's what they understood that we've forgotten. You don't need flavor. You need function. Black soup was high in protein and iron from the blood, preserved well without refrigeration, vinegar and salt, calorie-dense despite minimal ingredients, and psychologically hardening. If you can eat this, you can endure anything. Beyond the soup, Spartan rations included barley bread, not wheat. Barley was cheaper and heartier. Figs, portable, long-lasting, high in energy. Cheese, preserved protein that doesn't spoil quickly. Wine, diluted with water for hydration and calories. And onions and garlic, vitamin C, and natural antibiotics. Notice what's not on this list. Fresh vegetables, fancy meats, spices, variety. The Spartans ate for survival, not pleasure. A typical Spartan warrior consumed about 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day, enough to march 20 miles and fight a battle, but not a single calorie wasted on luxury. And here's the part that blows my mind. They trained on this diet. From age 7, Spartan boys were intentionally underfed to teach them to forage, steal, and survive on minimal resources. By adulthood, their bodies were adapted to run on scraps. Compare that to modern soldiers who need MREs packed with 3,000 plus calories just to function. The Spartan philosophy was simple. If you can fight on nothing, you can't be starved into submission. Part 2. Why minimalist rationing actually works. Okay, so Spartans ate like they were perpetually broke college students on a keto diet from hell. But why did this work? First, metabolic adaptation. When you consistently eat minimal rations, your body becomes incredibly efficient at extracting energy from food. Modern studies on intermittent fasting and caloric restriction show that your metabolism adapts. You're not starving, you're teaching your body to do more with less. The Spartans weaponized this. They could outlast enemies who relied on regular, substantial meals because their bodies simply required less fuel. Second, mental toughness. This isn't just bro science. Hunger is uncomfortable, but it's rarely dangerous in the short term. By normalizing mild hunger, Spartans built mental resilience. They weren't distracted by cravings or comfort, they focused on the mission. In a survival scenario, the person who panics when they miss a meal is at a massive disadvantage compared to someone who's trained to shrug it off. Third, logistics. Here's the tactical genius. An army that eats less parries less. Less food means faster movement, less supply chain vulnerability, and fewer resources needed from conquered territories. Roman legions needed massive supply trains. Spartans could operate behind enemy lines for weeks on what they could carry in a small bag. Fourth, preservation and shelf life. Everything in the Spartan diet lasted forever. Barley doesn't spoil, dried figs last months, salted cheese is basically immortal, wine is self-preserving. This wasn't accidental. They chose foods that could survive Mediterranean heat without refrigeration. The modern lesson? Emergency preparedness isn't about stockpiling gourmet meals. It's about calorie security with maximum shelf life and minimum cost. Part 3. Modern application. Building your Spartan pantry. All right, let's get practical. You're not going to be drinking pig blood soup. though honestly, blood sausage is still a thing in many cultures, and it's cheap as hell. But you can build a modern Spartan pantry using the same principles. Cheap, durable, nutritionally complete, and dead simple. Here's your modern Spartan shopping list. Grains and starches, $30 to $40 for 3 months. White rice, not brown, it lasts 4 to 5 years sealed, 50 pounds for $20. Dried pasta, 10 pounds for $10. Oats, 10 pounds for $8. Total, 70 pounds of carbs equals 100,000 calories. Why white rice over brown? Brown rice has oils that go rancid. Spartans didn't eat healthy, they ate what lasted. Protein, $40 to $50 for 3 months. Dried beans, black, pinto, lentils, 20 pounds for $15. Canned tuna or chicken, 24 cans for $20. Peanut butter, 4 large jars for $12. Powdered milk, 5 pounds for $15. Spartans had cheese and blood. You have canned meat and nut butter. Same principle, shelf-stable protein that doesn't require refrigeration. Fats and flavor, $20 to $30. Vegetable oil, 1 gallon for $8. Salt, 5 pounds for $3. Sugar or honey, 10 pounds for $10. Vinegar, 2 gallons for $8. Fat is calorie-dense and essential for long-term survival. Sugar isn't healthy, but it preserves food and provides instant energy. The Spartans had wine and olive oil. You have vegetable oil and vinegar. Vitamins and micronutrients, $15 to $20. Multivitamin bottle, $10. Dried onions or garlic powder, $5. Canned tomatoes, 12 cans for $8. Spartans foraged wild garlic and onions, but you're buying them dehydrated because you're smarter than pretending you'll forage in a crisis. Total cost, $120 to $160 for a 3-month emergency supply for one person. That's $40 to $50 per month. If you're spending more than $300 per month on groceries right now, and most Americans are, you could build this entire stockpile in 1 month just by eating Spartan style and banking the savings. Sample Spartan style meal plan, because you need to know this actually works. Breakfast, oatmeal with peanut butter and a spoonful of sugar, around 400 calories. Lunch, rice and beans with canned tomatoes, garlic, and salt, around 600 calories. Dinner, pasta with canned tuna, olive oil, and dried onions, around 700 calories. Total, around 1,700 calories per day. Is this gourmet? Hell no! Will it keep you alive and functional indefinitely? Absolutely. Spartans conquered half of Greece on less. Storage tips, because this is useless if it spoils. 1. Mylar bags plus oxygen absorbers. Seal rice, beans, oats in Mylar bags with O2 absorbers. They'll last 20 plus years. Cost, $30 for enough bags to store 100 pounds of food. 2. Cool, dark, dry location. A closet works, basement is better. Spartans stored food in ceramic containers underground. You're using Mylar in a closet. Same idea. 3. Rotation system. Date everything. Use oldest first, replace as you go. Spartans didn't have expiration dates, but they understood FIFO, first in, first out. 4. Water. 1 gallon per person per day minimum. Spartans had wine, which is about 85% water. You need bottled water or filtration. Budget $20 for a life straw or sour filter. Part 4. The mental game. Training yourself to eat like a Spartan. Here's the part nobody wants to hear. You can't just stockpile Spartan rations and expect to thrive on them in an emergency if you've never actually eaten this way. The Spartans trained their entire life on minimal food. Your body is adapted to pizza, burgers, and Starbucks. If the grid goes down tomorrow and you suddenly switch to rice and beans, you're going to feel like garbage for the first week. Hunger pangs, cravings, low energy, it's all psychological and physiological adaptation. So here's my challenge. Do a Spartan week once every few months. Eat only from your emergency stockpile. No restaurants, no convenience food, no variety. Track how you feel, what works, what doesn't, and adjust your stockpile based on real-world experience. This does 3 things. 1. Test your supplies. You'll quickly learn if you hate canned tuna or if you need more salt. 2. Train your body. You'll adapt to simpler foods and smaller portions. 3. Build mental confidence. When crisis hits, you know you can survive on this because you've already done it. The Spartans didn't wait for war to practice deprivation. They lived it daily. You don't need to go that hard, but you do need to test your system before you depend on it. Bonus tip. Start skipping breakfast or doing intermittent fasting a few days a week. The Spartans often didn't eat until evening. Training yourself to function while hungry is a survival skill that costs $0 and could save your life. Part 5. Why this matters more now than ever.
Look, I'm not saying society is collapsing tomorrow, but let's be real about the world we live in. economic instability. Inflation is crushing grocery budgets. Spartan rationing equals eating for 40 to 50 bucks a month. Supply chain disruptions. We've seen it multiple times in the last few years. Shelves empty fast. Natural disasters, hurricanes, wildfires, floods. Grid goes down, stores close, you're on your own. Personal crises, job loss, medical emergency, unexpected expense. A Spartan pantry is a financial buffer. The Spartans lived in a world of constant warfare, famine, and uncertainty. They built a system that worked regardless of external conditions. That's what we've lost in modern life, the ability to be self-sufficient when things go wrong. You don't need to become a prepper militia weirdo to see the value in this. You just need to be honest. When was the last time you had 3 months of food in your house? Most people have maybe 3 to 5 days before they're hitting the store. Here's the freedom that comes with Spartan rationing. Financial peace of mind. You know you can eat for months on what you have. Independence. You're not at the mercy of grocery store hours or supply chains. Resilience. You've trained yourself to thrive on less, which means you're mentally tougher when life gets hard. The Spartans weren't preppers, they were realists who understood that comfort is temporary and survival skills are permanent. You don't have to eat like a Spartan every day, but you should be able to if you had to. Build the pantry, test the system, train your body and mind to handle less. Because when the world gets chaotic, and it will, you'll be the person who's calm, prepared, and ready while everyone else is panicking at empty grocery stores. The Spartans proved you can conquer the world on almost nothing. The question is, can you survive your own life on the same principle? Start building your Spartan pantry today. Your future self will thank you. If you actually build this stockpile, drop a comment and let me know what you're including. And if you think you could handle a full Spartan week eating nothing but rice, beans, and canned tuna, you're lying to yourself. But I want to hear about it anyway. So who do you think is the best at food storage? Who had the best methods? Was it the Spartans, maybe people from medieval times, or even the Amish? Let us know in the comments. Next video, we're diving into how the Mongols survived on horseback for months with even less than the Spartans. If you thought this was extreme, wait until you see what warriors who lived entirely on the move were eating. Hit that subscribe button because this channel is all about learning from history's toughest people so you can be ready for whatever comes next. See you in the next one.